Happy Thursday, Tinon. How's it going today?
It's going.
We missed you last week, but we saw you in the GitHub um, issues. We're like, he's stuck in some other meeting missing us.
I was actually on PTO, but OCI is fair game on PTO, right? Because I don't do this professionally, I do this personally.
This is all
That's the lies
unprofessional
I
from
tell
me.
myself, right?
This is clearly unprofessional from me. There is nothing professional about it. How's it going, Jory?
Good. I'm not sure. So what is TNN not being professional about? And what are we being personal
Oh,
about? Is it OCI specifically?
yeah, Brandon was laughing because I missed last week because I was on PTO.
Mm.
Um, but I was still on GitHub commenting on things.
Oh yeah.
And the justification in my head for that is that I do OCI personally, and it just happens to have a lot of overlap with my professional life. Uh,
I think then we can make it like that part of the project catchphrase, like OCI, it's personal. You know, they look kind of
yeah,
hardcore. That's that is hardcore, Shannon. I think that's true for like so many of our projects. It maybe starts out as something that scratches an itch at work, but then before you know it, you're hooked.
yeah, you're an open source maintainer and you're suffering from severe burnout and lack of time and
I'm sure there's
abuse on the internet.
A Chappelle Show skit or something about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Burnout, lack of time. I know nothing about what you're talking about, Tinon. No
yeah,
clue at all.
yeah. You certainly didn't retire because of that, right?
So the thing I realized was that I had two jobs. I had a job that was paying me and a job that I enjoyed doing. And so I was like, you know what? I can get away without doing the one that's paying me for a while at least. So let me see how long I can make it happen.
I really like that. Kudos to you for making that choice.
I may change my mind later on. I might be like, getting that money, income, that was a
Yeah,
good thing. But for now, I'm
yeah,
making it work.
But, you know, counterpoint, mo money, mo problems.
I mean, there's a threshold where the problems start to come in if you have too much money, but there's also a threshold that comes in when you have too little money.
Oh, the catch 22 of money.
There's this happy range in the middle you have to find.
Yeah.
Speaking of no problems, Jory, did you see the
I
email sent over to
did.
ops?
I saw it 10 minutes ago. Um, that's clever. That's cute.
I'm very not surprised that somebody would have done that.
It happened to SPDX too, actually. Somebody decided to bomb in and be what do the Brits call them? Wankers. And can I put that on the Zoom recording here? Um, yeah,
too
and
late. It's
be
permanent now.
yeah,
We've
Those
got that on
wankers.
record.
great, great.
We'll turn
So
it into a YouTube short.
um anyway, yeah, so we'll see if we can go. Let me get signed in.
Yeah, if you own the document, you should just be able to go up to the share button in the top right and just switch it from write access of everyone to at least just limit it to people that are signed in.
But so the thing is, I don't think I'm like an
You're not the one.
owner. I'm not the owner. Or at least my account hasn't been
Yeah,
made an owner. So this is gonna just require a little digging to figure
I
out.
figured as much. I was like, I'm gonna send this to the whole ops, and Jory will probably bounce around inside the team and be like, okay, who owns it?
Yes.
It'll probably be in Chris.
Who owns
It
it and why is it Chris?
right. Probably that is what will occur. So honestly, I should just go straight to Chris. It's the easiest direct path.
I, I was hoping he would be on the ops list, and that would just be one less hop.
Well, so I don't know exactly how this workspace was set up, if this is um was this like actually set up on a personal account, in which case it would be like Chris's personal account, or is this
Or Amy.
a Amy? Actually, I'm messaging with her right now. Let me ask her. Uh, uh, Off
It's
topic.
it's funny that you go to Amy before you go to Chris.
Well, I chat with Amy. I won't say constantly, but very regularly.
We
And
all miss Amy.
yeah, I agree. Um, but she might know.
She knows everything.
She knows everything.
So for anybody like what on earth are Brandon and Joy chatting about, someone went into the HackMD and just rewrote it with some spam HTML message or something like that.
Nice.
You figure if you leave it open for anybody to write to it, eventually someone's going to get the wise idea to do that. But all right. On that note, should we kick this over into some other topics for the day? I can do some screen sharing, I hope. Let's see. Yeah, I think that worked. Well, all my screens are too bright. Make the darker screen here. So, Tianon, I dropped this comment in here. I wanted to make sure you were good with it before I hit the merge button. And if you were good with it, you're more than welcome to hit the merge button.
I've literally got this one open. I'm re-reviewing it as you and Jory were talking about HackMD.
Okay. Yeah, I figured just as I was looking through there, I'm like, it's kind of in a weird state right now. We're gonna have to do a second commit, and maybe other people know better than me of ways we should have done this more properly, but more better. But that's up there for easy review. And let's see.
Did
Another one.
you did you happen to check the actual output of this? Because this generates some of the Markdown or HTML, right?
This does so Pandoc does the Markdown HTML. The two dependencies over here CDs into the schema and just does that. I don't think
I don't remember why this was using Black Friday and like
this
actually writing.
this validates the Markdown, but it
Oh,
doesn't generate the Pandoc stuff. The Pandoc would be a separate PR
why do we have so much code to validate the Markdown?
because
That,
someone was really fancy about going through the specs and implementing that stuff.
that's wild.
It's some pretty interesting code.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Pretty interesting is probably not how I'd describe it. Unmaintained is the word I would use.
I've gone in and tweaked a little bit, but I try not to tweak too much just because I'm like, I'm going to touch something over here and
Yeah, like
it's either
case in
going to
point, like
it's either going to
you're
break
the only
something
person who
or
thinks about touching it, and even you are like, I'm gonna just maybe not touch that because I don't want to break it.
more than
Nobody's
anything,
maintaining this.
you touch it, you bump a version number, and then everybody's like, "Why'd you bump the version?
Yeah.
We like our old Go version. You're breaking everybody."
Yeah. Which I guess is the whole point of this PR, right? Is that we can
Yep.
bump those versions as aggressively as we want, and Tianan doesn't have to care anymore.
Yeah. So
You
the
can do whatever
only
you want in that schema directory, and I don't care.
yeah. So the only thing I noted about that was that in um, the image spec entry was not in the schema Go mod, and so in there the Go mod file just I think it says it references it, but it's not in the Go sum. And the reason I was able to get away without having the Go sum was because the Go work was overriding everything. But once you get rid of the Go work, none of the code runs anymore. And there's no way around that in one commit. So I think it has to be a separate PR to do that because I can't even reference a commit ID that's in the PR. I think it's got to be a merge commit ID. I don't think the Go proxy server is going to accept the other stuff. So thank you for that. And I guess if you're approving that again, you're good for this to be merged.
Instead of answering you, I'll click the
That's a
button.
yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So you reviewed this one, Sajay. If you've got a chance to look at this one over here, we've got Pandoc stuff as well to look through. And I went through resolved Tianan's comments last week. Over here, I just made a really simple one-line tool that just says, hey, print the version. That's the entire tool. The previous tool went through and did some other, a template in there and made some HTML and other stuff. I didn't need any of that. I just need the version. And then in the Pandoc itself, I switched us over from our own self-hosted, unmaintained. I don't know where this came from. I don't know how to upload a new version of that. Maybe I've got access, maybe I don't. To just using the Pandoc upstream and as pinned to a version number. I pinned to a slightly older release because if you follow a PR that I linked to in here, they've got a regression in there where they don't generate the links between markdown files. And yeah, all the other good shell stuff that Tinon liked in there. So I got all that tweaked up in there. I got the quotes around things because the quotes are good. I agree with that. And let's see. Yeah, the version, that's the one little tool I put in there. So I put the version in there. So I took out this old header.html file that we had in there that we generated and put a title in and some other reference and stuff like that, and changed this stuff to say, make this a standalone HTML file. No links outside of our own repo for anything like pictures and other stuff that we've got embedded in there right now. All the markdown files are all pulled into a single Pandoc entry. And then when you build this, you have a standalone HTML that you can then copy around, reuse. If it gets put in the release, it works by itself. You don't have to reference some release URL. And that also means that this works between releases when somebody wants to check a dev release or something like that. Those work as well.
I think you answered the question I had with like, why did you choose that specific Pandoc version? That was why I looked at this PR before.
Yeah.
So, do you just want to call out that why uh, that specific hash?
So I put that in the comment up here. So this updates because, and I linked over to that regression that they've got.
No, no, in the place where you actually pinned it to that specific.
In the pin, I can do that if you like.
Yeah, because I mean,
Someone's going to try to upgrade it. I'll reject it if they do,
no,
but
it'll be.
what
I
that's
mean,
worth.
it's it's obvious that it's there in the issue, but after some time, you'll probably be staring at the code and you have to do a git blame on that to figure out why that happened, right? So
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Throw that in a comment and I'll knock
yeah,
that out after the meeting.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Sajay, because Brandon will reject it, but I wouldn't, because I wouldn't have remembered or noticed.
yeah, no, no, because I ran this before a couple of times, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so painful, but it is what it is, you know. So
Yeah, and what'll happen is you'll run it, it'll generate the HTML file, everything will look good, but the links won't work.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have noticed it.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, Pandoc will update their stuff. I'm the one that opened the issue over there, so whenever they fix it on their side, I'll see it and I'll probably be the one that upgrades the version. We won't have to worry about this again in the future. Let's see. We don't have Derek here today, so I don't know how much time we want to spend on some of this, but my big comment on the registry proxying, I think. So this isn't the one I was thinking of. I think we're good to submit reviews on this. So this is a long discussion over here. But the one thing I did do was I threw an extra commit in here. So in case anybody wants to cast the blame on who wrote what lines, this was the agreement in a previous meeting, was that Brandon would take all the blame for adding this one line in here, which is that a registry that supports that new namespace query parameter should return that value of that query parameter in the OCI namespace header back in the response. And that just gives clients the ability to know for sure that that registry implemented the namespace header and did something with it that you expected. If it doesn't do that, then we're not defining any behavior what a client wants to do, but it just gives the option if clients want to be a little more selective about responses they accept if they're expecting things to happen with that. So that's the only line I added. If folks look at that and they're like, oh, heck no, we can pull that commit out. But otherwise, I think we're just looking for another review on that one. So yeah, this one goes so far back, 2019. I don't know if the reviewer list is updates when the PR gets old like that. Alrighty. Next one on the list, the range header. And this we don't have Rom here today, so I can't pester him. But the only thing that's failing the CI is this runs the current conformance test against Zot, and Zot was the one registry that was having an issue with this, hence the PR. For anyone that needs a refresher, there's just an extra bit of verbiage in there that says, hey, the end of the range that is in that from a range request. So when you get the response from a chunked upload, the registry comes back and says, hey, here's the location for the next chunk, and here's the range that I have. The end of range here is supposed to be the end of the range for the entire blob, not for that one chunk that was just uploaded. And so we get a little bit more specific here. That's the behavior of the distribution project. It's the behavior of a lot of other registries I've worked with, and I think Zot was the only exception. But they were passing the conformance because the conformance never tests this until we add that line. And now that line's there, now our CI doesn't run. So once Zot updates on their side, we'll get this all straightened out. All right. And tag listing. I think the only comment I had on this one still standing was that it would be good to get some conformance test on this, which also means getting some implementations on this as well. So that'll be kind of multiple bits of work to happen there. And that was all I threw on the agenda. Do folks have other agenda items? Or would you like to chat about any of the things I just blew through in like lightning fast time? Oh man, the summer silence. People want to clock out early today, huh?
I will have to drop at the half hour mark, so if you don't have anything like, substantive, I can just follow up with some encouragement to say hi at Open Source Summit Europe on the Container Plumbing Days if you're going to be there, or if you're watching this later and you think, oh, these OCI people, they're serious. Let's go. Come join us. We will be having a good time. There's a great agenda. I'm excited for some of the talks, and I think it'll be cool to see what people have to say, and then maybe share that too with the community after the fact. Yeah.
Is there a separate registration for that? Like, do you know how many people are going to show? Yep.
Gosh, that is a good question. I think there is a separate registration. And I feel, if my memory serves, that last time I asked this question of Allison, we were at like 20 registrants, and we were still like 14 weeks out. What we know is that most registrations for conferences are really happening within the 6 weeks leading up to the event. People don't really register all that high a number prior. It's like the last 6 weeks. They're like, oh yeah, let's go. Because they don't feel like the event's gonna sell out or anything, so they wait longer. So we'll actually maybe do more of a report on that. Like I'll be out of office next week, but when I get back the week of the 28th, I'll share numbers with y'all.
Cool. All right. Sajay went off camera. Everybody's gotten really quiet here. I feel like folks just want to have an early clock out for a nice hot summer day. So that's the wave of goodbye. Have a great rest of the week, folks, and we'll
Alright.
circle back next week.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Cheers.